Elijah Wood is a pretentious hipster with daddy issues. Either that or it's about pedophiles. I really hope it's the first one. Come to Daddy is the directorial debut of Ant Timpson, who, coincidentally, was one of the producers on the most awesome Turbo Kid. That movie's so fucking awesome. Come to Daddy stars Elijah Wood as Norval, as he goes to meet his father, played by Stephen McCatty, for the first time in like 30 years. Upon arriving, Norval's dad isn't exactly what he was expecting. And by not what he was expecting, I mean he's a raging fucking alcoholic with a sick sense of humor. From there, things get a bit weird. Some things happen, some new characters are introduced, some people die, some more people die in really grisly ways, some really fucked up shit happens to people, and then the movie ends. For fear of spoilers, I don't want to go into any more detail than that because not knowing what's going on in this movie is half the fun. And fun is exactly what this movie is. Holy shit, this was a good time. This movie was fucking awesome. Based on the trailer, which is pretty vague, and just kind of a vibe I was getting in the beginning of the movie, I really thought something totally different was going on in this movie. Full disclosure, for whatever reason, I thought this was gonna be a modern take on The Most Dangerous Game. Looking back, I really have no fucking idea why that is, but I was just getting Most Dangerous Game vibes there in the beginning. I don't know. That is not what it is. Not at all. So if you got that similar vibe, which you honestly probably didn't, but if you did, that's not it. The movie does a really good job of keeping you in the dark when it wants you to be. You are not going to guess what's going on here. The movie doesn't really hint to it at all. No, it keeps you in the dark. You don't know what's going on until the movie wants you to know what's going on. But don't worry, you will know. It puts it all out there. There are no questions in the end of this movie. But for the first half of the movie, it does keep you guessing. You'll run through a series of scenarios in your head as to what's really going on. Because while you don't know what's going on, you know something's going on. And up until about the halfway mark of the movie, you're not really sure what kind of movie you're watching. Is it a drama? Is it a dark comedy? Is it a horror? A thriller? You really don't know. It has bits and pieces of all of that tossed in there in the beginning until you figure out what's really going on. And that was one of the things that kept the first part of the movie so exciting, is just trying to figure all that out. That and the great performances from Elijah Wood and Stephen McCatty, and the extremely uncomfortable situations that these two get into. The first part of the movie with these two, the conversations they're having are just great. But the movie has a way of putting you, the viewer, into these really uncomfortable situations before you even know that's what's going on. And then all of a sudden you're there and you're just kind of sitting there watching the movie like, ooh. But it's not because of violence or anything. No, it's all through dialogue. These are just really uncomfortable situations these characters get themselves into. But don't worry, gorehounds, the violence part's coming. Wood in particular is great as that self-righteous, pretentious new waver that gets in over his head. While Elijah Wood and Stephen McCatty do a fantastic job here, really everybody involved does. Michael Smiley shows up later in the movie and is on par with those two as well. But even all the side characters, they're all written really well, but they're also performed with such a glee that you just can't help but watch and have a big smile on your face. Something else this movie is funny as hell. Not like in a goofy slapstick way either, but in like a really dark, uncomfortable kind of funny way. There's some shit that happens in this movie that's just really funny as hell. However, pretty much all of it's pretty damn dark. But that dark and twisted comedy just kind of agrees with me, so take it as you will. It's funny as shit though. Now while I don't want to spoil it, the story is great and runs at a tight pace throughout the runtime. So great acting, great story, great structure. How about that second part of the movie? So at about the halfway point of this movie, something happens and things go in a different direction. The story ramps up considerably at this point and things get bloody and violent. And they get the best kind of bloody and violent you can, which is practical. The vast majority of the effects in this movie, as far as I can tell, were practical. If there was CGI involved, it was so good that I just couldn't tell. These are some fantastically gross practical effects, which of course are the best kind. The gore in this movie, while not contained by any means, isn't necessarily the most gore you've seen on screen ever. But when it does happen, it is very brutal and in your face. They pull no punches. The violence and gore here is fucking amazing. Add to that the way some of the scenes are shot and some of the things they do will leave you kind of just looking at the screen like, oh, fuck. fuck. Case in point, without spoiling anything, there's a part where somebody takes a thing and hits somebody in the face with it, and it goes through some parts of the face that, while not deadly, the way in which it happens and the after effects, you're just kind of like, oh shit, they did that. And it looks really good, and it's pretty fucking awesome. So yeah, awesome special effects all around. And that kind of encapsulates the whole movie. Everything here is just really good and just really tight. I mean, there's great performances, great effects. The story's really interesting. They land the ending and it's satisfying. The music, the mood, just really everything here is just right. Guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a great movie and I had a wonderful time with it. Typically when I watch a movie, I don't have a desire to watch it again right after that, regardless of how big it is. I might wanna watch it again later on, but I don't really wanna watch it directly after just watching it. But not with this movie. I want to go watch it again right now, and I'm probably going to within the next few days. And because of all the points that I just mentioned, and the fact that I want to watch this movie immediately after just watching it, I gotta say that this movie is absolutely worth a buy. As soon as you have an opportunity, go and see this movie. You will not be disappointed. This is one of the best movies I've seen this year so far. Granted, it's only February, but still, it's a really good fucking movie either way. So there it is, guys, my review of Come to Daddy. That title, though. If you enjoyed, want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you liked what I had to say, give me a thumbs up. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.
Maybe we'll end up being best friends.
Come here! Come to Daddy!
This movie really gives you some conflicting emotions and moods all in like one single scene. Like, I can't really say what it is, but in the end of the movie, there's a thing that happens to a character involving their head. And when it happens, it's just really conflicting. It's like the thing happens to the character, and when it does, I was just like, oh. What did he say? Oh, that's pretty fucking funny. Yeah, man, it's just really emotionally confusing, but it was pretty fucking funny.